All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Potential Project. I'm your host, Sean Calhoun, and this is where we find out what it takes to pursue your full potential in every area of life. Guys, thank you for coming back and spending another week with me. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about mindset, specifically your mindset towards health and fitness, because that is our main objective on the podcast. But in my pursuit to help people live happier, live healthier, and just get more out of their lives, it's come very apparent to me that, a lot of folks' mindset towards their health and fitness is skewed and it's in the wrong place and it's not leading them to fulfillment in really anything that they're doing to pursue living healthier. And it's upsetting to see. So I wanted to bring this to our attention and just expand on the topic and see how we can get through some of these things. So, what I'm doing today is we're going to draw some parallels between health and fitness and a good, healthy relationship. Now, I want to start by saying I'm not a relationship expert. I don't claim to be in a perfect relationship, and I don't claim to have perfect health either. But what I found though is metaphors and analogies work really good for me. So, if I can draw these conclusions, hopefully it clicks for you and maybe you can see things through a different light that maybe you haven't beforehand. So today, like I said, we're going to focus on your relationship with your body, with your health, with fitness in general, exercise, nutrition, and we're going to compare that to one of a healthy, loving relationship with a partner, right? And maybe it's going to help you draw that bridge and make some changes in life. So today, what we're going to do is break down 7 different examples in those parallels, and then I'm going to give you some actionable takeaways to hopefully make some changes in this area and shift your mindset. So to set the stage, kind of, let's think about this, right? Health and fitness, they're often approached with a mindset of punishment or guilt. And this is really what sparked this whole conversation that I'm having with you today, is that we go to work out because we look at ourselves in the mirror and we don't think we look the way we need to look. Or we had a meal over the weekend that was higher in calories, or we had dessert and we want to go punish ourselves. It's like we have to go work off that ice cream that we had over the weekend. Well, having this mindset where we are punishing ourselves or we feel guilty, or that showing up to the gym is an act of like remorse for all the harm that we did over the weekend, that is going to lead to some unsustainable habits and a very low self-esteem, right? You're going to feel poorly about yourself if that's the cycle that you're getting into, right? So like imagine if you treated a person you cared about with that same negativity. Now, I want to put you in this situation as you're listening to this. Just picture your relationship that you want to have or that you currently have, whether you're married, you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, just a loving partner, right? Imagine that you treated this person with the same negativity. Like, how would they respond? They're most likely going to leave eventually, right? They don't want to be in that relationship, or the relationship itself is just going to suffer, and you're going to live with that for years and years and years, and that's not fun either, right? So the goal is to shift the perspective from, you know, punishment and negativity to a loving, nurturing relationship with your body, right? So how do we do that, right? The first thing that I want to break down, like I said, we're going to go through 7 different points today. So the first one is just having the wrong mindset, right? Punishment and neglect. So in a relationship, you would that what would that look like? That would look like constant criticism. It would look like neglect, or it would look like harsh treatments, right? That's going to push someone away, right? If you're constantly criticizing your partner, you're neglecting them, you're not paying attention to them, who would want to be in that relationship? Nobody, right? Telling someone you're not good enough or giving them the silent treatment. Like, how would your partner feel if that were the situation? Not that good, right? So we compare that with our body, right? A punishing mindset might look like you are exercising to make up for eating something bad, right? That's what I said before, right? You're exercising to make up for eating something bad. And if you can see this on the camera rather than just listening, I'm holding my fingers out with quotations because food is not bad. and you're not making up for anything, right? It doesn't work that way. Another situation is starving yourself for an unrealistic standard, right? You go on social media and you're seeing these people look a certain way, and you're like, oh, I need to eat less and work out more. So I'm gonna cut down to 1,000 calories, 1,200 calories a day, and that's just an unrealistic standard, and it's also not the way that you get there in the first place. You're gonna mess with your metabolism. But for the sake of not going on a tangent, we're gonna stick to this parallel between relationships and your health and your view on that and your body. So something that you can do as a way to reframe that as just as a healthy relationship needs kindness and care, your health requires that same positive intention and love, right? So we're not beating ourselves up or punishing ourselves for eating a certain way or working out a certain way. It requires a positive intention. And again, at the end of this, we're going to break down some action steps. So just bear with me here. But that brings us to point number 2, and that's communication, right? You want to speak kindly to your body. With a person, if you were in a relationship, you need a kind and supportive communication. It strengthens your bonds, right? An example would be complimenting your partner's strengths or encouraging them during tough times, right? It's not always going to be perfect, but are you encouraging your partner to work through these things and showing them all of the beautiful things that they have to offer to the world? So with your body, you want to avoid self-critical language like I hate how I look, or I'm so lazy, or I'm fat, right? You look at yourself in the mirror, and whether you say it out loud or in your head, if that's what's coming up in your mind, like I hate how I look, I hate how I look, that's not cool, right? Like, again, always bring this situation back to you're taking that scenario and doing it to a partner, someone you love, right? Imagine your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend comes down after getting ready and you're going out for dinner and you're like, "Oh God, you look terrible. You look like shit." How are they going to respond to that, right? The date's over. You're no longer going to dinner, right? That's going to lead to an argument. So, how do you expect your body to reply when you're constantly talking to it that way? It's not a good way. Um, so things that you can do are replace it with some affirmations. Like, I'm proud of taking the steps to improve my health, right? Like you're at the gym. Let's imagine this. You're at the gym working out and you see yourself in the mirror. And at first the trigger goes off like, oh God, I hate the way my stomach looks in this shirt or my shoulders or my arms, whatever it is, right? Instead of saying that, let that be a trigger to say, you know what? I'm proud because I'm here at the gym. I'm doing what I need to do to take steps to improve my health, right? It's not that you're there to punish yourself and you hate how you look. It's, hey, I'm proud of myself. So what we can start to do is when that phrase pops up, typically you'd get in the mirror, you just got dressed, you're ready to go out, and the negativity starts to pour in. Let that be a trigger to set off a positive affirmation to just say, you know what? I'm proud of myself. I'm doing something about it. I'm loving, progressing in my body. The third talking point is to show love and attention, not punishment. Now, some of these might seem like they're overlapping, which they will, but just in general, right? In a relationship, you show love through acts of kindness, through quality time, and through understanding. So that means like you planned a date, or you brought home a thoughtful gift, or flowers, or something that was out of the ordinary, right? It's a day where it's not their birthday or Christmas, and you planned a special date for you guys to go out. Now that's thoughtful. That's showing love and attention, right? Now with your body, you want to exercise because you love your body, not because you hate it. You want to exercise because you have the ability to move and to sweat and to challenge yourself and to get out of breath. And like it should be reflected as a beautiful thing, not because, oh my God, like you're punching your stomach. I just want abs, or I want my butt to look this way, right? You're doing it in a negative way where we need to flip that and you need to exercise because you love your body, right? With nutrition, right? You need to nourish your body with foods that make you feel good and have energy. See, your body wants to feel good at its natural state. It feels good. There's no disease, high energy, just all good things are happening. So when we're eating foods, instead of saying this is good food or this is bad food. You need to look at it like, okay, what are the things that make my body have energy, make it feel good, and make me feel vibrant and not cause those problems? Well, if we're looking at it that way, there are some foods that are technically poison to your body, and we need to eliminate those, right? We need to learn that eating those whole foods is not because you're on a diet, it's because you're nourishing your body to make you feel good and energized, right? And then the other thing is you need to rest when needed, right? Recovery is a form of care and self-love, right? You're not taking a day off from the gym or your exercise routine because you're lazy or because you're a piece of crap, right? Just like in the relationship, you need to show love and attention. Well, if your body is working out multiple times a week and it's feeling a certain way, you need to give it that time to, reestablish itself, to stretch, to recover, to hydrate, right? To detox, to do all those things. And that takes time and that takes rest, right? So that brings us to number 4, right? You want to invest in the relationship, don't deplete it. So with a person, right, neglecting the relationship or constantly taking without giving leaves the person feeling drained and unbalanced, rightfully so, right? If you're neglecting your partner or not doing any of those fun things or not saying anything kind or not talking to them, and you're constantly taking the energy without giving it, no one's going to want to be in a relationship like that. So with your body, think about crash dieting or over exercising, right? That is taking too much from your body without replenishing it, right? Again, like what I said before about eating 1,200 calories. I don't even know where this number came up with, but people seem to buy into it where I need to eat 1,200 calories a day. But imagine doing that, right? I'm going to starve myself, or you eliminate so many things from your diet, that you're crash dieting or you're working out every day. I mean, some people do 2 a days where they're just really like, if I just exercise as much as I can, then I won't have time to eat this food or put on this weight. That is taking so much from your relationship with your body without replenishing it. I know for a fact there are tons of healthy people who work out 1 to 3 times a week and they have great physiques, they have great health, they have a great mindset, and they're in a great place, right? You don't need to work out 6, 7 days a week, 2 times a day. Now, look, if you're a professional athlete and you have a certain regimen, or you just really, really enjoy it, I'm not going to tell you not to exercise. But when it comes from a place of, punishment and you're depleting your body, even though like your goal and your intention is to lose weight and is to look better, right? But what we don't realize is there's a whole lot of things going on internally with your hormone balancing, with everything happening in your body that you might be making the matter worse than better, right? From working out that much rather than taking a day off. So I know a lot of people say it's like their mental therapy, and I agree. My mental state is really good when I work out too, but there's other things like therapy or meditation or going for a walk or having a cup of coffee with a friend and just, getting all your thoughts out there on the table, right? That's another way to boost your mental state rather than just reaching for the workout, right? Because again, when you're burning your body down that much, your hormones, your regulatory systems, your stress responses are going crazy inside of your body and they're not ever able to, replenish and re-regulate, and therefore you're going to be further away from the result that you're ultimately looking for, right? So instead of that, we want to focus on balance, right? We want to focus on fueling your body, hydrating, and building habits that sustain the energy, right? Let's say you create the habit of having some electrolytes in the morning, first thing to get your body awake and hydrated. That's great. You build in a habit that maybe you walk every day for some quality time, for some head clearing time, and some movement, right? That isn't so intense, right? And then you make some time on the weekend or every other day you're doing a stretching routine or yoga, right? That is building and sustaining your energy over time rather than just saying we need to work out as much as possible. So that leads us on to number 5. So schedule quality time and fun. I don't know about you, but in a relationship that is meaningful to me, you got to have some fun, right? You got to spend some time doing things that is a part of life, right? Going on vacation, going on dates, going out to dinner, going for walks, right? Whatever you think of as fun and enjoyable, that stuff needs to be scheduled in. So, in a relationship, if you have a rigid schedule or joyless routines, it's going to create disconnection. If all you're ever doing is working and paying attention to everything but the relationship, that's not going to lead someone to want to stay. So an example is someone who only schedules like tasks that are like super important for their work, right? Rather than enjoyable experiences. Now, I don't know if you guys follow him, Jesse Itzler, but there's other entrepreneurs who do this. But he has an example where he has a big calendar of the year and he schedules in his vacations, the challenges that he's doing, like races or anything like that, time with loved ones, schedules that in first, and then all of the other free time, which is a lot of time still, even after all the vacations and things like that, is time to work. Now, maybe you're not an entrepreneur and you have set hours. That's okay. But what I'm trying to get across is that if you work a certain amount of hours and on the weekend you're not scheduling in a date, you're not scheduling in quality time, well, then time's going to pass anyway. And you're going to end up being burnt out because you're so tired from working all week. And then all you want to do is binge watch TV all weekend instead of scheduling time in with your partner to go do things, or even spend time in the house with them. Well, then that's going to lead them to be, remorseful towards you and just feel a certain way. So it's not going to feel good in the relationship, right? So with your body, you want to make movement enjoyable, right? Exercise doesn't have to be a fitness class. It doesn't have to be bodybuilding, right? You can dance, you can hike, you can find a sport that you like to play, right? That's all ways that you can move your body and exercise that might be more enjoyable to you. And the whole goal in that is that you do it consistently. So it's fun. You're not really thinking of it as exercise, so you're not trying to punish yourself. You're just moving your body in an expression that works for you, and then therefore you're going to get the results of you know, cardiovascular health and burning calories and building strength, right? So a schedule means that you're working this into your routine. So scheduling meals and workouts as an act of self-love, not obligations, right? Like if you are going to the gym at a certain time or taking a fitness class, right? And you're saying, okay, I need to go at 7 a.m. for this fitness class because I just have to. Like, if I don't, I'm a piece of crap, and I'll never hit my goal if I don't just build this self discipline, right? That's not a good mindset, right? If you schedule in your meals and your workouts like self love, like, oh man, like I really enjoy the way I feel after this workout class, so I'm going to prioritize that on my schedule. This way, I know in the morning when I'm done, I'm going to feel good, right? That's amazing. Or, like meal prepping. Like maybe you do it on Sunday, maybe you do a little bit every other day, maybe you make leftovers. So now you are cooking a dinner at home with your partner or by yourself, who whatever. And you're like, man, like I'm gonna make this healthy because I feel energized and I'm gonna make enough to have for lunch for the next 2 days. Like you're planning that into your schedule and it makes so much more out of the experience. Right now, it's not just like, oh my God, I got to cook this dinner. It's like, no, it's an expression of love and nourishment for your body and preparation and scheduling in that time for the future self. So that's awesome. Right. That brings us to number 6. Right. So we're going to build trust and confidence. This goes without saying, right? If you don't have trust and confidence in your partner, that's not going to be a good relationship. It's probably going to lead you guys to separating, right? So in a relationship, trust gets built through consistency and positive actions, right? So if you're always consistent with, you know, doing the little things, right? Sending that text that you love the person, or making sure you clean up after yourself by putting the dishes away, whatever it is, little things. If you do that consistently, that's going to build trust, and your partner's going to know that they can rely on you for that, right? So An example of that is if you're unreliable or overcritical, you're going to erode that trust, right? Imagine if, you would leave the house and you don't tell them where you're going, or you leave the dishes in the sink one day and then the next day you clean it, and then 3 days after that they're always in the sink, right? Like things are just they're unpredictable, right? That's going to lead someone to not have trust in you, right? I don't know. I don't know if Sean's going to clean up the dishes. I don't know if Sean's going to tell me where he's going when he leaves the house, right? So why would you trust me, right? You're going to lose confidence in me, because then you're going to be thinking, oh, is he going off to do X, Y, and Z? Like, meanwhile, it could just be going to the gym or going to work or whatever it is, but you get what I'm saying, right? You need to build trust and confidence in a relationship. So with your body, right, you need to be consistent with your healthy habits, not extreme measures. And I'm someone who has been through this, right? I have very high standards and goals for myself. So sometimes that leads me to being extreme, like all or nothing, this perfect scenario. And if you mess up one little minute detail, you're a piece of crap, you're a failure, right? You need to start over, and you're never going to get there because you can't be perfect. That's not good, right? So being consistent with those healthy habits is way more important than being extreme and perfect. So you got to trust your body to respond positively when it's treated well, right? Like you're going to your workouts, you're playing that sport, you're starting to make, more whole foods for dinner, you're preparing those meals. And then listen to your body and trust that it's going to respond positively because it's being treated well. So your body, your health, is that partner that we've been talking about this whole time. And I know you only get one body, you only get one health. And that's the most important point about this whole discussion that we're having, is that if you tarnish a relationship, they could leave and you can find another relationship. I'm not saying you need to do that, but that's what happens, right? You go through dating a bunch of people and all of a sudden you get married to one person. Well, what happened to those other people? They left because it wasn't the right fit. You can't just do that with your body. You can't just say, hey, you know what? You're a piece of crap. You haven't been paying attention to me. I'm out of here. I'm going to go get a new body. It just doesn't work like that. So that leads us to number 7, guys, avoiding toxic behaviors. So in a relationship, toxic behaviors like manipulation, control, constant criticism, that's going to destroy a relationship, right? Like imagine telling your partner they're never good enough. That's going to create resentment, right? Like imagine your partner just had a hard day at work, and then you're eating dinner and you're like, well, you're never going to amount to anything because you work at this job or you do X, Y, and Z. How would they feel? Like that sounds ridiculous, even for me saying it, because most people wouldn't do that. But it's like, that's what we do to ourselves, right? It's pretty insane, right? So with your body, if you're over restricting or overtraining, it's a form of control. It's gonna breed burnout, right? We've talked about this again with limiting foods and like only eating 1,000 calories a day or working out twice a day. It's you trying to control your body, and your body is going to resent against you. It's going to cause all types of things to be out of balance within your body. It's going to cause you mentally to burn out. And that's not a cool feeling, right? So instead, you can adopt a flexible and compassionate habit, right, towards your health and your fitness. So let's say you've never worked out before and you're really like, you know what? I don't feel that good. My energy's pretty low. I know something needs to change, right? I know I probably need to get moving and maybe get to the gym or whatever type of exercise that you want to do. Instead of saying, I'm going to work out 7 days a week. I found this diet, the paleo diet. I'm going to eliminate all this crap out of my house, and it's going to be great. And then 3 days goes by, and you're like, "Whoa, I can't do this anymore." Well, why don't you say, "Hey, you know what? I saw that there's a pickleball league, and I'm going to go once a week. It's on Tuesdays. I'm going to do that once a week." And then all of a sudden, you're doing that for a month, and then you're like, "Wow, they have 2 days a week. I'm going to go 2 days a week." Then you're doing that, and then you meet a friend there who's like, "You know what? We go walking every afternoon after work. Cool. Let me come along with you guys." Now you're walking every day, plus you're playing pickleball twice a week. And then you meet another friend in the walking group who's been doing some strength training on the weekends. And you're like, whoa, what's that all about? Let me come with you. And then after a few months, now you're moving every day, you're exercising 3 times a week, and your whole life has completely changed for the better just because you allowed yourself to build into that stuff. So a toxic behavior would be like overtraining, beating yourself down, trying to be perfect. And a way you can avoid that is just accepting where you're at and allowing those habits to build and stack upon one another. And like I said, sometimes it takes months, years, and that's okay. But sometimes those habits can stack pretty quickly, and you meet certain people, and you find out that you didn't know how much you liked playing this sport or doing this type of exercise. That now you're doing it more because you love it, rather than saying I need to exercise because I'm a piece of crap. So the key question, guys, is if you treated a partner the way that we just went over and the way you treated your body, how would that relationship look? It would look terrible, right? It would end in breakup, divorce, or just being miserable every single day that you have to deal with the relationship. So why would you want to do that with your body, right? Would it be thriving and full of love? No, it wouldn't. It'd be strained and ready to break. So I challenge you to sit down and shift your mindset to one of love, care, and respect, right? We need to look at our bodies as amazing things. I mean, if you think about it, what we're capable of doing, it's pretty awesome. Like it makes no sense to me. I'm no biologist or doctor by any means, but I am learning more about the body, and what we can do is incredible. So we need to allow ourselves to accept that and give it some love. So I did promise some takeaways, and I always like to give you guys some knowledge, give you my feedback, and also give some actionable steps that you can take to improve your health, your mindset, your physical attributes, all of those things, right? We want to live healthier and happier. So actionable takeaway number one would be to write a love letter to your body. Now, I know this sounds corny, right? But you want to acknowledge what your body does for you every single day and show some love for it moving forward, right? Like every day, instead of beating up your body and saying, you're a piece of crap, look how ugly you are, look at all these rolls, whatever you say, why don't you sit down, take out a pen and paper, and just start jotting down all of the amazing things that your body can do for you. You walk, your body gets you from point A to point B. It puts it through workouts. Um, it breathes, right, without you thinking. Your heart beats without you thinking. You're able to do millions and millions of things. I'm not going to sit here and try to list them off, but you can get creative and you can write on a piece of paper what your specific body does for you and just acknowledge that, right? It's a love letter to your body, right? You would do that for a partner if you really cared about them. Actionable takeaway number two is to reframe your negative thoughts. So I've kind of mentioned this before, but this is something that takes some practice, right? You need to catch yourself in the moments of self-criticism and replace them with kindness, right? Like if every day you're getting changed and you look in the mirror and that's the time where you sabotage yourself the most, think about what I'm saying here and make that the trigger. Make that the point where you know tomorrow getting changed. Hey, Sean mentioned that I probably am negative myself the most when I'm getting changed. So this is going to be the time where I snap my fingers, it draws a light bulb, and instead of saying something negative, you tell yourself something positive, right? You can replace it with a kind phrase, right? And then number three would be to plan a date with your health, right? So just like you would plan a date with your significant other, right? It's to find something fun, a nurturing activity for your body this week, right? Whether it's yoga, whether it's a walk, whether it's cooking a nourishing meal. It doesn't always have to be a fitness, physical activity. It could be finding a recipe that you want to cook and it's nourishing for your body, right? But you're planning that out. It's like, hey, Thursday night, I don't have any plans. I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to get all these good ingredients and I'm going to whip up a great meal for myself. That's something that you can do where it's on your schedule, it's planned, and you can look forward to spending time nourishing your body and just improving your mindset towards your health. So, guys, I hope this helped. I hope that you can see that the analogy between a great, healthy, positive, loving relationship directly correlates with your relationship with your body and how we might not be in such great relationships right now. So we want to turn that around. So take these steps, listen to it again if you need to. And I hope that something triggered in your mind that you can make a step this week. Because that's what it's all about. It's not about listening to this and saying, oh, that was cool, that made sense. It's like, no, take one actionable step today, this week. That's going to improve your relationship with your health and your body. And also, guys, if you did enjoy this, if you learned something, if that light bulb moment did go off, please share this with a friend, right? Text it to them, put it on your socials, whatever you do, whatever your form of spreading things out to the world is, go ahead and do that. You can subscribe, you can like and follow the page on Spotify or Apple Music. That way, this message gets out to more and more people who might need to hear it. So thank you guys for listening and tuning in for another week of the Potential Project. I will see you next week.